Welcome to the ATEX video library on importing IIF files into QuickBooks Online. Before we begin, it's important to understand exactly what an IIF file is. It was set up years ago with QuickBooks Desktop and as a means of importing files into QuickBooks. Some people think it's a spreadsheet because you can open it up with a spreadsheet program like Excel, but it's not exactly the same. You can open it up in Notepad as well. This happens to be a tab delimited text file. Some are also in CSV files, comma separated values. You will see where it differs from a regular spreadsheet in that there are certain defined rows that define what the columns are. There's a trans line, SPL line, NTrans, and that defines the headings. And then underneath those you have trans and SPL for split lines. So we have a single invoice transaction here, one trans, one end, and a single payment. Now this is set up to create an invoice and pay that invoice by the doc num field or docket number, invoice number. And again, these were defined in QuickBooks Desktop for Windows many years ago, but we have enhanced it to go along with the new features in QuickBooks Online, such as department of location, custom fields, and there are 3 that you can have on a sales form. Now, if you happen to have a true spreadsheet and you want to import that into QuickBooks Online, you don't have to convert to an IIF file first. We do have another program called a Trans Importer, which can import Excel spreadsheets. Now let's see what it takes to actually import a IIF file into QuickBooks Online. We have a online company opened here, open to a customer called ATEX Test, and you'll see it has no transactions. Now you don't have to have QuickBooks Online open for the program to run, but it's good for our demonstration. So I'm going to start the program here, and you start it via normal Windows desktop, or it can be started from the Windows Start Programs menu under ATEX, IIF Importer. Programs coming up, connecting to QuickBooks. The authorization for us to connect to QuickBooks was done previously and need not be done again. This is our simple 1, 2, 3 mode. Basically, it's 1 to select the file, 2 to click on the import, and 3 to verify the results. I guess 3 is optional. We have more. We have an expert mode that we'll talk about a little bit in the next few minutes. So let's try in a file that we just had opened and see what happens. We browse to it, double click to select it, click on the import button, do a confirm, and in our status bar here, and this is a progress bar here, you'll see that we're doing things, we're adding transactions, and we've done 2, and it says complete. We can now verify from within the program that an invoice and a payment have been created. We can also check with QuickBooks Online itself and with a manual check. I will refresh this page. And you see there is a payment and an invoice. The invoice is marked paid and the payment closed. We can then click on the payment or use the recent transactions there, and you'll see that this payment is indeed paying that invoice. And we'll look at the invoice now and see that it has our information and it has a location or the department, has the custom fields and the items that were in there. So that is the basics, which most people will need. But you might have a situation where you need a little bit more. Now let's just say you have a website that is creating invoice IIFs, but you want to bring them in as sales receipts. We go into our expert mode and we have a lot more flexibility, a lot more controls. we can go into our settings and say, I want to change invoices to sales receipts. In the IIF terminology, it's called a cash sale. When you'll get on a screen, it's a sales receipt. Now, this will then change to file that's read from invoice to sales receipt. It doesn't change anything that's already in QuickBooks, but it just changes the value as we're reading them. We could also do overrides, replacing what was there. We can also ignore things. These are the transaction types and list items that we're going to support. We can uncheck some buttons here and to basically ignore those. So that is basically it for how you can do a simple import of an IIF file into QuickBooks Online. Again, if you have a true spreadsheet, you might want to use our transimporter. If you have a website you want us to connect to or database, then that will be our integrated product. So please check on our website, atex.com, and look at our products. And we're here to help you. That concludes this video. Again, thank you very much.